Most women are wearing the wrong heel size and don't even know it. And I'm not just talking about going up or down half a size. I mean the actual shape of the heel, the width of the toe box, the height of the arch, all of it wrong for their foot type. And then they wonder why their feet hurt after 2 hours, or why they can't walk in heels without looking like they're in pain. Today I'm going to break down exactly how to find the right high heel for your specific foot type, because not every shoe works for every foot. And once you understand this, shopping for heels is never going to be the same for you again. Let's start with something most people don't think about: the shape of your foot. There are 3 main foot shapes, and they affect everything when it comes to finding a heel that actually fits well. The first one is called the Egyptian foot, which is where your big toe is the longest, and each toe gets shorter after that. This is actually the most common foot shape. The second is the Greek foot, where your second toe, the one right next to your big toe, is longer than the rest. And then there's the square foot, or Roman foot, where the first 3 toes are almost the same length. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? But here's why this matters. The toe box of a heel, that front part where your toes sit, is shaped differently depending on the shoe. A pointed toe box works really well for Egyptian feet because the shape naturally follows the taper of your toes. But if you have a Greek foot and you squeeze into a pointed toe, that second toe has nowhere to go. And that's where the pain starts. Square and Greek foot shapes usually do better with a rounded or almond-shaped toe box because there's more room at the front. This one change alone can make wearing heels so much more comfortable, and most people have never even thought about it. Now let's talk about arch type, because this is a big one. You either have a high arch, a low arch, or a neutral arch, and each one needs something different from a heel. If you have a high arch, your foot has a very pronounced curve on the inside, and when you put on a heel, all that pressure goes straight to the ball of your foot. High arches need heels with extra cushioning at the ball, and if the insole is completely flat with no support, you're going to feel every step. Look for heels that have a slight platform at the front. Even a few millimeters makes a huge difference, because it reduces the actual angle your foot is sitting at. A 4-inch heel with a 1/2-inch platform feels more like a 3.5-inch heel on your foot. And that changes everything for someone with a high arch. Low arches or flat feet have a different problem. The foot tends to roll inward. This is called overpronation. And in heels, this can make your ankles look like they're collapsing to the side. And it puts stress on the inside of your knee over time. If you have flat feet, you want heels with a wider heel base for more stability. Stilettos are really hard because that tiny heel doesn't give you much to balance on. So block heels and kitten heels are your best friend. Also, avoid heels that are too flexible in the sole, because you need some rigidity to keep your foot from rolling. A thicker sole or a small platform at the front helps distribute the weight more evenly, which takes pressure off the arch, or in this case, where the arch should be. Let's get into heel width now, because wide feet and narrow feet need completely different things. And this is where a lot of people just give up on heels entirely. If you have wide feet, the biggest mistake is buying your normal size in a style that runs narrow and just hoping it stretches. Some shoes do stretch, but not always in the right places. And forcing a wide foot into a narrow shoe causes bunions, blisters, and pain along the sides of your foot. Wide feet need a wider toe box. Look for shoes that are marked as wide fit, or look for brands that specifically cut their shoes with more room at the front. Mary Jane heels and strappy heels with adjustable buckles are great for wide feet, because they don't squeeze the sides. Mules and open-toe heels also give the foot room to breathe without cutting in anywhere. Narrow feet have the opposite problem. The foot slides forward in the shoe, and all your weight ends up on your toes. If you have narrow feet, you want heels with straps across the instep to hold the foot back in the shoe. Pointed toe styles actually work really well for narrow feet because there's less extra space at the front. Ankle straps are also great because they lock the heel in place and stop the foot from sliding. If you're wearing a pump with no straps and your foot keeps slipping, try heel grips. They're little adhesive pads you put at the back of the shoe, and they grip your heel so it doesn't move around. One more thing that almost nobody talks about: toe length relative to the shoe. Here's the rule. You want about a thumbnail's worth of space between your longest toe and the end of the shoe. Not too much, not too little. Too much space and your foot slides. Too little and your toes are being crushed. And your longest toe isn't always your big toe. Remember the Greek foot shape we talked about. So always measure from your longest toe, not your big toe. When you're trying on heels, stand up and walk a few steps, because your foot spreads when you put weight on it. A shoe that feels fine sitting down can feel tight the moment you stand up. So here's what to take away from all of this. Your foot shape, your arch type, and your foot width all determine what kind of heel is going to work for you. And when you match the right style to your foot, heels actually feel good to wear. You stop dreading them. You stop taking them off the second you get somewhere. You stop walking weird because your feet hurt. You actually enjoy wearing them, which is the whole point. And the thing is, none of this is complicated once you know it. You don't need to spend more money. You don't need to buy expensive designer heels. You just need to understand your foot and shop with that in mind. A $30 heel that fits your foot type is going to feel better than a $300 heel that doesn't. That's just the reality. So before your next shoe shopping trip, figure out your foot shape. Egyptian, Greek, or square. Check your arch, high, low, or neutral. Think about your width. Are you always squeezing in, or always sliding around? Once you have those 3 things down, you're shopping smarter than most people ever will. And your feet are going to thank you for it. Seriously, once you start doing this, you're never going to go back to just grabbing whatever looks cute and hoping for the best.